Hey everybody, so today we're going to talk about our concept vocabulary, conventions, and style, okay? So, maybe, bloop. So this is on page 26 of your American Literature textbook, concept vocabulary. So your vocab words for this text were unalienable, constrains, tyranny, assent, acquiesce, and rectitude. You looked them up in one of your previous assignments. And now we're going to think, why these words, okay? These concept vocabulary words convey ideas about power and rights. For example, Jefferson refers to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as unalienable rights. He states that the king's actions established absolute tyranny over the colonies. So you're going to answer the following two questions in complete sentences. So number one, how does the concept of vocabulary, so these words right here, blue, 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 help readers grasp the issues leading to the Declaration of Independence? So why do you think that is, okay? And number two, what other words in the selection connect to these concepts? So briefly skim back through the 3 pages of the Declaration and see what words jump out to you that connect to rectitude or acquiesce or assent or tyranny or constrains or unalienable, okay? So like this example right here where it says why these words. If you don't remember the definitions, you can go back to that vocab assignment or just look them up real quick, okay? So once you have done the concept vocabulary, we have 2 more things to do. So you're going to use each concept vocabulary word in a sentence that demonstrates your understanding of the word's meaning. So you're going to use unalienable, showing what you think the word means, constrains, tyranny, assent, acquiesce, or rectitude, right? And number 2, in 2 of your own sentences, okay, so 2 of the ones you wrote for number 1, replace the concept vocabulary word with a synonym or another word with the same meaning. What is the effect? Okay, for example, which sentence is stronger? Which one makes the sentence seem more positive or more negative? What do you think there? Okay, so next, word study. So we have the Latin root rect. The Latin root rect means right or straight. It is a basis for many English words, including such mathematical terms such as rectangular, right, having right angles, or rectilinear, formed by straight lines, okay? So write a definition of rectitude that demonstrates your understanding of the Latin root. So write a definition that demonstrates being right or straight, okay? And number 2, use an online college-level dictionary, such as the Merriam-Webster dictionary, to find the meanings of rectify, as the word relates to chemistry and as it relates to electronics. All right, sorry, I got a phone call. So Google in the dictionary to find the meanings of rectify as the words relate to chemistry and as it relates to electronics, and put it in number 2. So next we have conventions and style. So changes in syntax and usage. Language changes over time, as I have learned, right? Y'all are saying, you capping, right? Or that hamburger slaps, okay? I'm trying to be hip with the times, but I don't think it's working very well. So language changes over time. During the 18th century, when Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, English spelling was almost identical to that of today's English. However, there are elements of Jefferson's style, the style of his era or his time period, that may seem old-fashioned to today's readers. So for syntax is the structure of sentences. When we were doing the grammar and we had subject, verb, direct, object, right? Or subject, verb, indirect object, direct object. That is syntax, okay? That's the structure. So some of Jefferson's sentences are very long by today's standards. In fact, the second paragraph of the Declaration is a lengthy single sentence. It's one sentence, this whole paragraph, right? Then we have usage, the way in which a word or phrase is used. Jefferson uses some words that would rarely be used and might even be contested today. For example, the word consanguinity in paragraph 32 is a term that few modern writers will use, right? When do you ever see that one? Let me hide this. And then formality, right? The level of familiarity. Oh my gosh. The level of how you're familiar with which writers address the reader. So are you super formal or are you more conversational? Okay. While there are still ceremonial and public forums that require formal language, American culture is more casual now than it was in the 18th century. Right? Both the purpose of the document and the style of the era are reflected in the Declaration's high level of formality. So here's your directions. This is on page 27 as well. You're going to answer the following questions in complete sentences. Make sure to restate the question in your answer and use textual evidence to support your answers. Okay? So number 1, you're going to reread paragraphs 1 through 2. Paragraphs 1 is one line and paragraph 2 is a single sentence as a paragraph. It's not too long. Of the Declaration of Independence. And you're going to choose 4 words or phrases that you think represent an earlier style of English. Okay? And then number 2, locate Jefferson's use of conjured in paragraph 32. What does that word mean to Jefferson in this context? What does the word often mean today? Use an etymological dictionary or another search. So, etymology is the foundation for a word. So like we were doing with the word rect, right? That is the Latin root. That's the foundation for the word rectify. Okay? Does that make sense? So you can Google conjured etymology or other source to explain how the two meanings are connected by word origin and word history. Okay, so that's what you're doing in number 2. And so use the internet. The internet is your friend here. And number 3, what qualities of 18th century style do you find in paragraph 28 or 29? Do you see some old school styles there? What kind of qualities are you seeing that you're not seeing in 2021, right? And lastly, consider syntax usage and level of formality when you're finding those qualities, right? Are the sentences really long? Are they using words that we normally wouldn't use now? And is it super formal and fancy, or is it conversational in those paragraphs? Okay, so you're going to write your answer there. And last one. This is not in your book. This is from me. We have our modern lingo. So in a few sentences, you're going to summarize the Declaration of Independence using modern, informal language, including slang. Okay, so you can use your slang. Just please don't use any curse words, but you can be funny. Okay, as long as you are encompassing the main ideas of the Declaration of Independence. So it's just a couple of sentences. Write how maybe you would say this to a friend, how you would explain the Declaration of Independence to someone else using your modern lingo. All right, please let me know if you have any questions and have a wonderful rest of your day.